Mufussy's got the rage, let it flow. Holding on to stories, tales untold. He's the king of the ring, the last man standing. Dropkick the Commute.
Hello and welcome to Dropkick the Commute, March 6th, 2025. That's crazy. We're flying through. We're just over a month away from WrestleMania after a thrilling Elimination Chamber. If you want my thoughts on Elimination Chamber, go check out the last video. We're going to hop right into it. We're not going to be in the car today because I don't want to. I'm just in a yapping mood. I'm just gonna yap. I don't want to drive. So, two things first. Number one, I don't know how much merit this post has, but I saw it on Twitter right before I went to record. It's from Corey Hayes 407. It says WWE is looking to host an Evolution PLE in the near future. Everything on the schedule is still tentative, but it's currently set for 7/5 at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. We will share more updates as things get confirmed, so stay tuned. That'd be hype, if true. The women's division is on fire in NXT, at least. I wouldn't say the main roster. In NXT, the women's division is on fire. So if this PLE has a lot of NXT folks on it, I think it would be a fucking crazy PLE. So I'm very okay with this, if true. Again, I don't know how much merit this poster has. I don't think I've ever seen this account before. Who are they? Wait, let's look. Body Slam Net and PWN Reports they're from. So, I don't know. If true, that's fucking crazy, and I think it would be a really, really good PLE, and I would be really excited to see it. I think it would also help with some of the hate towards Triple H's booking and all that. Having an all-women's PLE, it would be absolutely fire. And like I said, the NXT roster is insane, so if you have a lot of them on there, like, it would blow a lot of the PLEs out of the water, in my opinion. And before we hop into the shows, I do want to say I have played WWE 2K25 today. You're probably wondering, Justin, it's Thursday. How are you playing it? I live in New Zealand now. That's right. I live in New Zealand. I've played a ton of the showcase so far. It's very fun, very hard. I gotta say though, in showcase, if you have a fucking Extreme Rules tag match, it makes the objectives fucking impossible to do because your tag team partner will just go for the pin immediately. I had to redo one of the matches where you play as 3-minute warning. I had to do that match like 7 times because the other dude just kept pinning immediately before I could even finish the objectives. It was so goofy. But the showcase is a lot of fun. I also tried out a Bloodline Rules match, which was fucking insane. I did Cody versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 40 for the title, and I tried Bloodline Rules. And the way that you call out your allies is very fun. It's basically just a payback move. Each person in the match can do it 3 times. So by the end of the match, there was 8 people for me when I called them out. I was playing as Cody. When I called them out, it was Jey Uso. Okay, makes sense. Then it was Sami Zayn. Okay, makes sense. But then the third person I called out was Dusty Rhodes, which was so funny. Dusty Rhodes came and helped his baby boy retain his title. It was just such a goofy moment. I've really only done that, and I played Showcase so far. I have not tried The Island yet. I have not tried My Rise. I am, however, going to stream that on Friday, so if you want to watch that, check out my Twitch channel, link in the description. And if you missed the stream, I'll be uploading an edited version of it to Dropkick the Commute, so be on the lookout for that. I am gonna do quite a bit of 2K content coming up here soon. It's a lot of fun, really excited to play more of it and get into it, and I've been having a blast so far. So also, it's really fucking funny, they have the People's Championship in the game. I just think it's so goofy because I went over to the championship management just to look at it. They have the People's Championship in there as a title that you can face off for. Just very silly to me. I am really, really excited to play My Rise. I think My Rise is going to be a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy My Rise. I enjoyed the 2K24 My Rise quite a bit. I enjoyed both versions of the, 2K23 My Rise as well. So it's a lot of good, silly, goofy fun. And then I am going to try out the Island as well. I know the Island, I don't know, arguably just their big cash grab, but I'm excited to see what, gets added to it, how it plays, and we'll see. Obviously their online connection is not ever good in the 2K games. I've tried to record a video with Galir last year in 2K24, as soon as it came out, and we literally could not record a video because we would play for about 3 seconds and immediately get disconnected from a match. And that's been my experience every time with 2K Online. We'll see how the Island is. We'll see how that goes. I'll try it out, and yeah, it's gonna be good. I am playing on Xbox Series X and S. Well, I'm playing on a Series X, not and S. I'm playing on a Series X. It's running very well. It's a lot of fun, and it looks great. So I'm hyped. We are going to talk about the weekly shows, and then we are going to do our Revolution predictions. I could do predictions for Roadblock as well. Let's do that. I know NXT Roadblock is not a PLE per se. It's a TV special, but it's definitely a big enough card to, I feel, have predictions for. So we're going to do that. But let's hop into the weekly shows first. Starting off, we had Monday Night Raw, and Raw started off with a bang with CM Punk dropping bombs, dude. Walks into the arena and just takes a mic and starts, going old school Punk style. He refers to The Rock and John Cena as bald frauds, and he's like, I worked my ass off for this, and John Cena just waltzed right in here, sold out, and, all this stuff. And John Cena, selling out, winning the Elimination Chamber, and then turning on his friends just so they can be Hollywood buddies together. Really, really good CM Punk promo. If you didn't see it, go check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. And then that got interrupted when he brought up Becky Lynch, talking about Seth, obviously. He was talking about everyone in the match, but talking about Seth, and he brought up Becky Lynch, and he's like, Becky, you better come get your man before I beat the shit out of him. Seth comes out, and they immediately start brawling. They brawl into the break. It's just a big brawl. It continues throughout the show. They find each other backstage a few more times and fight, and eventually Seth is going to his bus, and Adam Pearce is like, fine, you want this fight? Steel cage next week, Madison Square Garden. That's going to be insane. That's going to be a really, really fun match to watch. So Seth versus CM Punk in a steel cage next week on Raw. Very hype. We had Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile, and this was a really, really great match. I'm usually not entertained by Ivy Nile matches, but she did a great job with Lyra. I thought they had really good chemistry, and Lyra, this is exactly what I want to see from her with the Intercontinental title. She's doing a great job, as I've been praising her the past few weeks. I love Lyra Valkyria. She has really good presence when, she comes out during her entrance. The crowd is behind her. The crowd is behind her in the match. They get good reactions. Yeah, I thought overall it was just a really, really good, decent match from the both of them. Fucking sick tag match between the War Raiders and the Creed brothers. This was so solid, fast-paced, super entertaining. The War Raiders are big dudes, and they can pull off some moves that are just fucking insane. They always do the moonsault off the rope, which is just so impressive to see every time. A man that size should not be doing moonsaults, but he lands it perfectly every single time. Big ups to Julius Creed. He did a fucking shooting star press, landed it picture perfect, baby. Very, very impressive from the War Raiders and the Creed brothers. The War Raiders did retain, of course. We also had Otis versus Gunther, which was interesting. Gunther, he's on this respect kick, talking about respect, and he's like, Otis, show me what you got, and all this stuff. And Otis actually had a really good match against Gunther. This Raw was just very well-rounded, very solid, but it was impressive how well Otis stood up to Gunther in this. Obviously, Gunther won, and then Jey Uso came out at the end of the match. Lastly, biggest surprise from Raw, Io Sky. defeated Rhea Ripley and became the new World Women's Champion. A twist no one saw coming. We're getting twists and turns, heartbreaks left and right from WWE lately. Really, really good showing from the both of them, obviously. Like, they can both hang. But there was a really cool sequence where Io did every damage control move. Like, she did Dakota's finishing move. She did fucking Kairi Sane's move. She did Asuka's move. And then she did her move. And it was just so good. Like, it was just such a good moment. And Rhea ended up ultimately getting distracted by Bianca Belair, who was on the outside of the ring watching the match. Rhea went to go do a Riptide, and then Io Sky kind of reversed it, did a like Hurricane Rana, I believe, and then she ended up, you know, flying from the top rope and covered Rhea and got the dub. Afterwards on social media, there was a really, really good promo from Rhea backstage, and she's talking about, like, she got real deep with it and was talking about, like, oh, she's disappointed in herself and, like, all this stuff. But it was good to see that side of Rhea because we haven't seen it in a long time. Overall, just really, really entertaining and good to see that side of Rhea. Io winning, I genuinely did not see coming, so it's definitely going to make WrestleMania interesting. I am assuming that we're going to build to Io versus Rhea versus Bianca. That's what I feel like is going to happen. Somehow there's going to be some kind of triple threat there, and they're going to build to that. I imagine there's going to be a few DQs or interferences over the next few weeks before we get to Mania. Hopping over to NXT, this was also a really fucking entertaining show this week. Starting off, we had Sol Ruca and Zarya versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and Sol Ruca pinned the US champion. That's big. That's big for Sol Ruca. I've been seeing Sol Ruca has been on Main Event lately, and she's been kind of opening up for SmackDown, like having a dark match and whatnot. So maybe we'll see Sol Ruca move up to the main roster soon here. Matt and Jeff Hardy were on NXT once again as well. And this week was interesting because Lillian Garcia was the announcer for NXT. Having Lillian announce the Hardy brothers in 2025 as the TNA Tag Team Champions is just so crazy. I never thought we would be in this world, but here we are. They were talking to Hank and Tank and, you know, had just a little promo like, we're happy to be here in NXT and we're going to give you the show of a lifetime next week in Madison Square Garden. They're facing off against Fraxium for the TNA tag titles, so that's going to be very exciting. We did have Cora Jade versus Jordynne Grace. It was overall a good match up until there was a weird point where Cora Jade kind of jumped off the rope and went to jump onto Jordynne Grace, and her knees like buckled, and then it went to commercial break. But during the commercial break, the X got thrown up, and it was a real one. The ref, you know, threw the X up, and they ended up stopping the match, and it was Cora's knees like got fucked up, and she ended up posting on Twitter like, my knees are all good, I just got rocked for a second. So she must have thought something happened there. She must have, you know, thrown something out of whack there, but supposedly she's all good, and we will see what happens. They did something well here where after this there was a segment with Roxanne where Roxanne ended up attacking Jordynne Grace, and I thought that was kind of a good save for all of this. And another huge surprise, big title change on NXT this week. Shawn Spears defeats Tony D'Angelo, wins the North American title. Kind of saw this coming a little bit. You know, Izzy Dame did turn on the family, and we had that whole thing in the steel cage, and they've been building to this for a little bit, but I did not expect Shawn Spears to win it this soon. I figured it would be like at the next PLE or something like that. But yeah, that happened. It was kind of a weird ending. Shawn Spears like did his finishing move. I want to say it's called the C4. Tony D'Angelo like went to do a power bomb or something like that, but then like his back gave out and he just kind of fell over and Shawn Spears pinned him. It was just a weird ending. I thought it was kind of abrupt, but very exciting. The NXT crowd just got like hushed out and they were like, whoa, because no one expected Shawn to win. AEW Dynamite, another banger venue. This was our final Dynamite before Revolution. We do have Collision on Saturday as well. For it being the final Dynamite before Revolution, I didn't think it was that crazy of a show, but they do have Collision to kind of help out with the build a little bit more. But we did get some things here that will help with the build to Revolution. Again, they were in another banger venue. I love that they're running these small venues. They're very unique, and it was just such a cool spot to have a wrestling show. The show started off with Ricochet and Swerve signing their contract for their match on Sunday. This was kind of weak. Swerve was like struggling with his words a lot, trying to figure out what to say, and I don't think it landed that well until the end. He ended up bringing up Samantha, and he was like, Ricochet, the only two things you'll be remembered for is me reviving your career and your ring announcer wife. Ricochet gets up, he's all pissed off, and he goes to stab him with scissors again. Swerve grabs his hand, and he ends up stabbing him, and Ricochet, falls over the table, and he was bleeding, and it was a good moment, but again, the build up to that moment with the promos was just a little weak, and Swerve was kind of struggling with his words there. But I think that's going to be a really good match at Revolution. I think it's going to be solid. They do have great ring chemistry, which we actually saw later on in the night in the main event. Swerve, Strickland, and Brody King versus Ricochet and Okada. So a fun little matchup here because we are having Swerve and Ricochet and Brody versus Okada at Revolution. We're having both those matches, so this was kind of like a little preview of that. I thought this match was really good. I thought this, built those matches up well, and it shows you that Brody kind of struggles against Okada, and it showed you the chemistry between Swerve and Ricochet, so I thought that was a good match to have, and it definitely helped with the build that we didn't see during that promo. We had a tag match with Ospreay and the Callis family and like a whole smorgasbord of people. Kyle Fletcher ended up coming out at the end of the match and starts beating the shit out of Will Ospreay. They obviously are in a steel cage match at Revolution. So Kyle Fletcher's beating the shit out of him, and he ends up making Mark Davis hit Will Ospreay with a chair, and Mark Davis is like, I don't want to do it, man. You're beating him up too much. I don't want to do it. I'm not a bad guy. But he ends up handing him the chair, and it's very similar to like when Roman handed Sammy the chair. Obviously not to that scale, but a similar situation. Mark Davis did end up hitting Will Ospreay with it, and he ends up walking away, just like shaking his head. He's like, man, what did I do? Remember, Mark Davis is kind of like being held hostage by the Callis family almost. Kyle Fletcher was yelling at Mark Davis. He's like, you're not the lead anymore. You got to listen to me. You got to do what you're told and all that stuff. We had Cope versus Wheeler Yuta, and this was an interesting match because at first I was like, and commentary too. Commentary did a really good job at selling this, and it was, why wasn't Cope being so aggressive towards Wheeler after everything that's happened with the Death Riders and the stuff that happened last week? Why is Cope not coming out of the gate just fucking going crazy to Wheeler Yuta? This was like a normal kind of slow paced match. Cope ends up winning with a spear. He gets up and ends up shaking Wheeler Yuta's hand, and he's like, this is what respect feels like. So he's trying to get Wheeler to like turn back to the light side, essentially. And I think that works too. Wheeler was struggling at the beginning, just kind of being used as a lapdog, and like he didn't want to take out Bryan Danielson, but he did ultimately. So it makes sense that Cope would try to turn him back. And it is kind of successful because after this, Cope leaves the arena. Mox comes into the arena, and he starts pushing Yuta, and he's like, what the fuck? You were supposed to, like, kill him, take him out. And Wheeler's like, nah, man, like, chill. And he's all up in Wheeler Yuta's face. Wheeler pushes Jon Moxley back, and he's like, fuck off, dude. And he walks out, and he starts walking to the back. Mox chases him, and he's like, yeah, you better fucking keep walking away. If I see you back here, I'm gonna kill you. So Cope was successful, and he did isolate Jon Moxley before Sunday. So it would have been cool to see Cope go fucking crazy and take out Wheeler Yuta, but we didn't need that, and I think they did a good job here with telling this story. One quick thing, Max Caster came out and for his open challenge continued to try and do that. Switchblade came out and squashed him. I love this. Keep having Max Caster get squashed. It is the funniest shit. Really good segment from Tony Storm and Mariah May. They had a sit down interview with Renee, and dude, this build is so fucking good. We are getting a no holds barred falls count anywhere match between Tony and Mariah May at Revolution. And holy fuck, man. Like, this segment was so good. Mariah was like, isn't this what you wanted? Like, don't you want me to be this sick bitch that you keep talking about? And Tony's like, yeah, but the thing is, you'll never be as good as me. You'll always be mediocre. And people are going to wonder, what happened to Mariah May? And the answer will be, she tried to kill God, which is so good. This build is incredible, and Tony Storm somehow upped all of her character work, and this is some of the best shit that we've seen from timeless Tony Storm, and I fucking love it, dude. It's such a good build. And then last thing I want to cover from Dynamite is MJF and Hangman is cooking, dude. Like, this is great. As I mentioned, MJF's past two feuds were kind of meh, but this one with Hangman is so good. And Hangman pulls up in his truck and, chases MJF to the arena. They're fighting, and MJF had someone dress up as him. So Hangman chased him to the ring, the imposter. And then MJF ended up attacking Hangman after he was going after the imposter. And he takes down Hangman, grabs lighter fluid, and goes to light fucking Hangman on fire. Because he did bring up Swerve's house. Swerve's house? No, he brought up Hangman burning down Swerve's house. So he's like, oh, I'm going to light you on fire, you hypocrite. So he pours lighter fluid all over him, and he takes out a lighter. He's about to light Hangman up, but then he gets rushed by security, and they literally carry him out of the ring. So, that is going to be another banger match, probably brutal, bloody. Revolution's looking to be a really good card. With that, let's hop into my official predictions for AEW Revolution 2025. I'm sure more pre-show matches are going to be announced, but I will talk about the 10 matches that are announced for the show so far. First, pre-show, Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration versus Johnny TV and MXM Collection. That's going to be a fun match. I think it's going to be goofy, silly wrestling fun. You gotta have Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration win. You gotta. That's what is going to happen here. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher steel cage match. I'm going to say Will Ospreay wins this one. I think it's going to be brutal, and we're going to get some crazy fucking high-flying spots from this. But I think Will Ospreay is going to win this. That's my official prediction. Okada versus Brody King. I see Okada retaining. MJF versus Hangman. Give me the Hangman win. Unless MJF cheats. He'll probably cheat and win. I'm going to say give me the Hangman win. That's what I want. Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners. Hurt Syndicate retains for sure. Outrunners are going to put on a great match. I think this is going to be a banger, but I don't see them winning against the Hurt Syndicate. Mercedes versus Momo. Mercedes, she's going to win it. Swerve versus Ricochet. I see Swerve winning. Ricochet has kind of won their last few matches. I don't see that happening this time. Tony Storm versus Mariah May. Hollywood ending. I'm going to say Tony Storm retains. Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. I'm going to say Kenny Omega wins this. Moxley versus Cope. This is a tough one. I think we're going to get the Cope win. I think we're going to get it. But I don't know what's going to happen from there. I think we're going to get the Cope win. That's what I think. That's my official prediction. Let me know your predictions down in the comments. Let me know what you think. I am very curious. Do you think we're going to see anyone big debut? Do you think that's going to happen? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Also do predictions for Roadblock. That is Tuesday. Again, that's not a PLE or a pay-per-view, but it is a TV special, and it's a big card. So let's chat about it. Obafemi versus Moose. I don't see Moose taking the NXT title to TNA, so I think Obafemi is going to retain this. Hardy Boys versus Fraxium. I think the Hardy Boys are going to retain. That is just for the TNA Tag Team Championship. Julia versus Stephanie Vaquer. Winner takes all. I think Stephanie Vaquer is going to win this because I read that Julia might be injured. I know that sucks, but I think Stephanie Vaquer takes it. She is going to be the unified. Weird that they're unifying the titles already. Kind of wacky, but I think Stephanie Vaquer is going to take it all. Javon Evans versus Ethan Page in a street fight. Probably Ethan Page wins this and just beats the shit out of Javon Evans some more. And then Jordan Grace versus Roxanne Perez. I think Roxanne is going to win that. It'd be interesting if Jordan Grace won. That would be a really big win for her. But I think Roxanne is going to win. I think that is it for predictions, and I think that is it for this episode. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know if you think I'm a clown or if my predictions stack up against the show. Let me know what you think. Reminder, I will be streaming on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Mufussy. I'm going to be playing WWE 2K25 at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you don't catch the stream, I will be posting an edited version of it to this Dropkick the Commute YouTube channel. I'll be doing a few more quizzes soon. I know I keep saying it, but I am going to. I'm planning them. I got them planned. We're going to be doing them soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and I am excited for another fun week of wrestling. Dropkick, remember to dropkick your weekend, gamers. Goodbye, bye-bye, goodbye, bye-bye, goodbye. Beep, beep.